Okay, we're looking at investing in shares. So a share in a company is owning a very tiny percentage of that company. So you have a very small part in the decisions that get made as a shareholder and owner of those shares. You get a very small part of the profits that that company makes, and you can buy and sell shares in the stock market. So shares are just small fractions of the ownership of a company. So when a company decides to move to the stock market, they can float a company on the stock market and they sell small amounts of the company. When a company makes a profit, you'd assume that people who own the company would get part of that profit. And since shareholders own a tiny, tiny amount of the company, each of those people should get part of the profit unless it's invested back into the company. So frequently, a company will decide to pay a dividend, which is an amount per share that's paid out. Now, when you buy and sell shares, you do so on the stock market, the stock exchange, and usually you will have a stockbroker who negotiates that for you, who does those purchases, and because they're working for you, they charge a fee, usually a commission, and that's a brokerage fee, usually as a percentage of the total sales that they make for you. So percentage. So if you sell $100 worth of shares through your broker and they charge 2% brokerage, then they would get $2 for that. So we just do need to be able to do some basic calculations with these. So Alyssa bought 8,500 shares in a particular company for $7.80 each. This year's dividend is given and the brokerage fee is given. So we do just need to be able to find out the cost in total, and from that we get the brokerage, and we get able to get the dividend payment. So beautiful working. Cost of shares. Now this one's quite obvious. So she bought 8,500 for $7.80 each. That's 8,500 times 7.8. 66,300. So you can see that she's just spent $66,300 on these shares. Her brokerage fee is 1.8% of the total sales. So that was what she just bought in value. So brokerage fee will be 1.8% of that. Now it's a good idea, of course, always when you're finding a percentage of an amount, to say I'm finding 1.8% of this amount. Remembering that to find a percentage of an amount, you change your percentage to a fraction over 100. Make your of into times and multiply by the amount. So 1.8 divided by, turning that one on. 1.8 divided by 100 times the amount. So a rather hefty brokerage fee of $1,193.40. So far it's cost her this much and the brokerage fee on top of that. The dividend is 47.3 cents per share. So she's got 8,500 shares. We're going to calculate her dividend by multiplying. 8,500 shares times 47.3 cents. Now do remember, this is cents. So when we get cents as an answer, we'll have to change that to dollars. So she gets a large amount in cents, 402050 cents, and of course divide by 100 to get that in dollars. So she's made a profit in the dividend of $4,000, $4,020. So you'll see she's made a profit this year despite the fact that there's the brokerage fee involved. Now, when you come to sell your shares, you might want to know, have you made a total profit? When you sell them, they'll probably be sold for a different amount because the value goes up and down. So at the end of the year, she sells for $8.10 each. And to calculate her total earnings, we will have to find the brokerage for selling as well. So we're going to calculate the earnings she gets from selling, the brokerage fee from selling, and then we're going to compare total earnings versus total costs. So, selling price, she had 8,500 and she sold them for $8.10. 68,850, so we can see that we've made a profit there. We need the brokerage. Sorry, I'll move to a new page. Brokerage for selling. Now that's 1.8% still of the amount that she sold them for. Of 68,850. Percentage is 1.8 divided by 100, turn the of into times. And so her brokerage for selling is $1,239.30. So we've now got her brokerage for selling, her selling price. So to get her total earnings, would have to be her, earnings minus the total costs. So she earned the amount she sold them for, which was 68,850 plus her dividend of 402050, that was her earnings, minus every cost. So minus the cost of the shares in the first place. Now we can add up the costs here in brackets if we want. We have her brokerage fee when she bought, we have her brokerage fee when she sold. So there's her total earnings, there's adding up her total costs, and we would add these up and subtract to get her total earnings after costs. Typing it all into the calculator, which I won't do for you here, $4,137.80. So over the year, she's made a profit of about $4,100 when you take into account the costs and her earnings.